2 is a number, numeral, and glyph. It is the natural number following 1 and preceding 3. In mathematics, the number 2 has many properties. In mathematics, an integer is called even if it is divisible by 2. For integers written in a numeral system based on an even number, such as decimal and hexadecimal, divisibility by 2 is easily tested by merely looking at the last digit. If it is even, then the whole number is even. In particular, when written in the decimal system, all multiples of 2 will end in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. 2 is the smallest and the first prime number, and the only even prime number. The next prime is 3. 2 and 3 are the only two consecutive prime numbers. 2 is the first Sophie-Germain prime, the first factorial prime, the first Lucas prime, the first Ramanujan prime, and the first Smaragd-Aquilon prime. It is an Eisenstein prime with no imaginary part and real part of the form 3n-1. It is also a Stern prime, a Pell number, the first Fibonacci prime, and a Markov number, appearing in infinitely many solutions to the Markov-Diophantine equation involving odd-indexed Pell numbers. It is the third Fibonacci number, and the third and fifth Perron numbers. Despite being prime, 2 is also a superior highly composite number, because it is a natural number which has more divisors than any other number scaled relative to the number itself. The next superior highly composite number is 6. Vulgar fractions with only 2 or 5 in the denominator do not yield infinite decimal expansions, as is the case with all other primes. Because 2 and 5 are factors of 10, the decimal base 2 is the base of the simplest numeral system in which natural numbers can be written concisely, being the length of the number a logarithm of the value of the number. The binary system is used in computers. For any number x plus x equals 2x addition to multiplication x equals x2 multiplication to exponentiation x equals x2 exponentiation to tetration in general. Hyper equals hyper 2. 2 also has the unique property that 2 plus 2 equals 2, 2 equals 22 equals 2, 2 equals 2, 2, and so on. No matter how high the level of the hyper operation is, 2 is the only number x such that the sum of the reciprocals of the powers of x equals itself. In symbols, this comes from the fact that powers of 2 are central to the concept of Mersenne primes, and important to computer science. 2 is the first Mersenne prime exponent. Taking the square root of a number is such a common mathematical operation, that the spot on the root sign where the exponent would normally be written for cubic roots and other such roots, is left blank for square roots, as it is considered tacit. The square root of 2 was the first known irrational number. The smallest field has 2 elements. In the set theoretical construction of the natural numbers, 2 is identified with the set. This latter set is important in category theory. It is a sub-object classifier in the category of sets. 2 is a primorial, as well as its own factorial. 2 often occurs in numerical sequences, such as the Fibonacci number sequence, but not quite as often as 1 does. 2 is also a Motzkin number, a Bell number, an all-Harshad number, a meandric number, a semi-meandric number, and an open meandric number. 2 is the number of n-Queen's problem solutions for n equals 4. With one exception, all known solutions to ZNAM's problem start with 2. 2 also has the unique property such that and also for a not equal to 0 the number of domino tilings of a 2 times 2 checkerboard is 2. In n-dimensional space for any n, any 2 distinct points determine a line. For any polyhedron homeomorphic to a sphere, the Euler characteristic is chi equals v minus e plus f equals 2, where v is the number of vertices, e is the number of edges, and f is the number of faces. As of June 2015, there are only 2 known Wieferich primes in base 2. With the exception of the sequence 3, 5, 7, the maximum number of consecutive odd numbers that are prime is 2. List of basic calculations. Evolution of the glyph. The glyph used in the modern Western world to represent the number 2 traces its roots back to the Brahmin Indians, who wrote ʻtuː as 2 horizontal lines. The modern Chinese and Japanese languages still use this method. The Gupta rotated the 2 lines 45 degrees, making them diagonal, and sometimes also made the top line shorter and made its bottom end curve towards the center of the bottom line. Apparently for speed, the Nagari started making the top line more like a curve and connecting to the bottom line. The Gubar Arabs made the bottom line completely vertical, and now the glyph looks like a dotless closing question mark, restoring the bottom line to its original horizontal position, but keeping the top line as a curve that connects to the bottom line leads to our modern glyph. In fonts with text figures, 2 usually is of X height. For example, in science, the number of polynucleotide strands in a DNA double helix, the first magic number, the atomic number of helium, the ASCII code at the start of text. Group 2 in the periodic table of the elements consists of the alkaline earth metals whose usual valence is +2. Period 2 in the periodic table consists of the 8 elements lithium through neon. Astronomy Messier object M2, a magnitude 6.5 globular cluster in the constellation Aquarius. The New General Catalogue object NGC2, a magnitude 14.2 spiral galaxy in the constellation Pegasus. The Saros number of the solar eclipse series, which began on May 4, 2861 BC and ended on June 21, 1563 BC. The duration of Saros Series 2 was 1,298.1 years, and it contained 73 solar eclipses. The Saros number of the lunar eclipse series, which began on February 21, 2541 BC and ended on April 22, 1225 BC. The duration of Saros Series 2 was 1,316.2 years, and it contained 74 lunar eclipses. The Roman numeral ʻtuː stands for bright giant in the X spectral classification scheme. The Roman numeral ʻtuː stands for the second discovered satellite of a planet or minor planet Sylvia II Remus. A binary star is a stellar system consisting of 2 stars orbiting around their center of mass. In technology, the resin identification code used in recycling to identify high-density polyethylene. In religion, Judaism, the number 2 is important in Judaism, with one of the earliest reference being that God ordered Noah to put 2 of every unclean animal in his ark. Later on, the 10 Commandments were given in the form of 2 tablets. The number also has ceremonial importance, such as the 2 candles that are traditionally kindled to usher in the Shabbat, recalling the 2 different ways Shabbat is referred to and the 2 times the 10 Commandments are recorded in the Torah. These 2 expressions are known in Hebrew as in, guard the Shabbat day to sanctify it, and remember the Shabbat day to sanctify it. 2 chalices are placed on the table for each Shabbat meal and a blessing made over them, to commemorate the double portion of manna which fell in the desert every Friday to cover that day's meals and the Shabbat meals. In Jewish law, the testimony of 2 witnesses are required to verify and validate events, such as marriage, divorce, and a crime that warrants capital punishment. Second Day Yom Tov is a rabbinical enactment that mandates a 2-day celebration for each of the one-day Jewish festivals outside the land of Israel. Numerological significance. The most common philosophical dichotomy is perhaps the one of good and evil, but there are many others. See Dualism for an overview. In Hegelian dialectic, the process of synthesis creates 2 perspectives from one. The ancient Sanskrit language of India does not only have a singular and plural form for nouns, as do many other languages, but instead has a singular form, a dual form, and a plural form, for all nouns. Due to the significance of 2, it is viewed as important because of the anatomical significance of 2. 2 is a good number in Chinese culture. There is a Chinese saying, "Good things come in pairs." It is common to use double symbols in product brand names, e.g., double happiness, double coin, double elephants, etc. Cantonese people like the number 2 because it sounds the same as the word easy in Cantonese. In Finland, 2 candles are lit on Independence Day. Putting them on the windowsill invokes the symbolical meaning of division, and thus independence. In pre-1972 Indonesian and Malay orthography, 2 was shorthand for the reduplication that forms plurals. Orange person, orange orange or orange 2 people. In astrology, Taurus is the second sign of the zodiac. In sports, baseball. In baseball scorekeeping, 2 is the position of the catcher. Football. In American football, a safety has a 2-point value. Also, a 2-point conversion is a point after touchdown attempt where the ball crosses the goal line via run or pass. In association football, the scoring of 2 goals by one individual in a single match is referred to as a brace. The successor of a brace is the hat trick, 3 goals scored by one player. Basketball. In standard basketball, the value of any made shot taken from inside the 3-point arc in normal play is 2 points. In the half-court 3x3 variant, made shots taken from outside the 3-point arc are worth 2 points. In other fields, groups of 2, lists of pairs, list of twins. The name of several fictional characters. Number 2. The designation of the Trans-Canada Highway in most of the province of New Brunswick, U.S. Route 2, 2 separated highways in the northern tier of the United States, the western segment connecting Everett, Washington to St. Ignace, Michigan, and the eastern route connecting Rouse's Point, New York to Holton, Maine. The lowest channel of television in the United States, Canada, Argentina and Mexico on which television signals are broadcast. Brace is also used in hunting to refer to a pair. For example, he shot a brace of pheasants. 2 turtle doves is the gift on the second day of Christmas in the carol, The 12 Days of Christmas. In North American educational systems, the number 2.00 denotes a grade point average of C, which in some colleges and universities is the minimum required for good academic standing at the undergraduate level.